Hey everyone, Tom Gentile here. Quick video for you. So this week, the main topic that's been going around and then beating around the marketplace is the price of oil and energy, because now oil is above $70 a barrel. So all of a sudden, this has become a topic of discussion everywhere. I want to show you a couple different charts on oil itself, how I assess this, and where I believe it's going in the near future. So let's start with the first chart here. This is just simply a candlestick chart with a moving average on it, a 10-day moving average. But more importantly, look at the dotted lines here. All right, so this is something that I run in our software that's called Stock Chart Peaks. All right, it gives me an idea of where the peak highs and peak lows are. They're not based off of actual highs and lows, but the closes of the day. So back in mid-February, when we started looking at the energy markets moving higher into the summer, we found a chart peak low that occurred right around mid-February. And you can see the higher lows and higher highs that assumed all the way up to our chart peak resistance was happening just a few days ago. So if I were looking at chart peak supports now, I would see one in the low 13s, and I'd see a second one coming in around $12.50, all right, $12.50. This is for USO. All right, USO is the ETF for crude oil. All right, so as USO pulls back, so does crude. Next chart. This is one you're probably more familiar with, and this is a trend channel chart, which shows us trend peaks as far as resistance and trend peaks for support. All right, now we've seen support and resistance running upward over the last few months, obviously, since around mid-February. And now what we're seeing is we're seeing a potential to move back into resistance. First area of resistance, $13.50 for USO. Second area is $12.60, which is very interesting because that's the same area that we saw on our last chart. So stock chart peaks and trend channels are converging together, giving us a lot of information for support points. The third thing I like to look at is what are all these stocks doing? All right, these are the top 100, as you see here. These are the top 100 gas exploration and crude exploration stocks. As you can see, for today, we've had, looks like about 31 of them are either break even or higher on the day. Most of them are lower because we're seeing the price of crude oil drop. But the other thing I want to mention to you is that I like to look at not only volume, I like to look at the high-low. And I like to see where we are as a percentage of the high-low close. A lot of these stocks are near their all-time highs. And although oil's backing off, these single digits here are showing us that these are still near all-time highs. This is all good news for the long term, meaning the next few months for the price of oil. Finally, can't walk away without looking at the money calendar. And what I want to look at here is something that we call holidays. Now, what I did was I already cranked this up, putting in USO, looking at the last 10 years before Memorial Day. What happens before Memorial Day? And so what's been happening is we're getting a 70 to 80% read on the last 10 years, meaning that the price of USO and crude oil, and more than likely a lot of energy stocks, tend to move higher as we get into Memorial Day. In fact, the last 8 trading days before Memorial Day, you can see those last 10 years, this has actually been, 8 of those 10 years have been positive. Last year, not a big move here. As you can see here, we had a nice move from around the low 10s all the way up to the high 10s before getting a big drop off and then finally getting a little push up. But this is a pattern that 8 of the last 10 years has actually worked. So there's my take on crude oil. There's my take on USO, the United States Oil ETF, as well as energy stocks. I do believe we are going to see a bit of a pullback here, but I also believe that we will resume the trend into mid-summer. All right, there's my video for you guys. Have a great trading week, and we'll speak soon. Bye now.